Hello DevOps friends, welcome to Full Stack Live. I'm Jochen, the Monospace mentor, and welcome to my Thursday stream. I didn't do a stream on Tuesday because I had a work appointment, which was quite successful, I have to say, and I'm quite happy with how the collaboration with our marketing agency is working out. And we did have a nice hangout on our Discord server, however. So if you would like to join us there, please do so. You're more than welcome to join us. We have lots of nice conversations, and on every second Tuesday of the month, we are having a hangout on Discord where you can join and have a nice little casual voice chat with us. So, Frank Berg, hello, good morning to you, and thanks for all the motivation you're sending my way. Today I had my personal best 5K and I can still feel it in my bones. But yeah, doing great and having a lot of fun exercising. This almost daily exercise, if the weather allows it, is really, really great. Doing me good. Speaking of weather is quite nice outside. It's not quite sunny, it's pretty cloudy, but still a lot warmer than it was even a week ago. So spring might actually be around the corner. Let's see. So what else? I got my first Stripe payout as Monospace mentor. People are signing up for my Varnish course, which is going to happen end of this month. And seeing actual revenue from that is amazing. And yeah, it won't stay long because I have to buy a few things, services that I need for advertising, things like ConvertKit to send out newsletters, and I just bought a WordPress plugin that allows me to manage course curricula on WordPress itself, which also means that I'm going to switch from a static website generator. I've been using Bridgetown for that quite happily, but I am going to switch my website to WordPress. And that is going to be the first topic of this live coding stream, actually. And that's what we're going to do first today. But first, catch up with everyone. Frankberg says God didn't make bikes, so I could move by my own feet. That is an argument. I'll have to think about that. There's also buzzes, you know. Xima, hello. Want to start coding? Where should I start? Pick a language and get started. That's it. It's that easy. And if you're unsure which language to choose, I would say pick either Python or Ruby. They're both great, and you have a basic background in Python and HTML and CSS. You're not a beginner anymore. All the better. Keep going at it. Try and find out what you can do with Python. Maybe check out the web frameworks that are available for Python. So take a look. I'm not sure if Flask is still around, but Django definitely is. So start building things like that. And yeah, just go at it, and you'll get better simply by practice. Don't let yourself get confused by all the options. Just pick something that you enjoy, and that'll get things rolling. And yeah, it's not complicated. Fragware says there's an order I prefer when it comes to exercise. Swim, greater than bike, greater than anything else. Greater than run or walking. Okay, I see what you're getting at. Thanks, Xima, for the follow. That's really kind of you. Yeah, so two things that I'd like to do today. I might not get to the second one, depending on how much time we'll go into the first one. But I really would like to get my WordPress setup going. And I did actually set up a test instance on my company's hosting platform. We are specialized in hosting WordPress, after all. And there are, however, a few things that I ran into. For example, the learning management plugin that I bought wants to make changes in the file system, in the WordPress installation itself. And that's not possible actually on our hosting platform, because we run a highly available platform, which is also scalable. You can't actually change the file system of an installation, because that would only happen on one of the application servers that serve your website. And usually there are more than one web servers that serve your website, and your changes wouldn't get propagated to the other machines. That's why we chose to do what's called GitOps, where you push your changes to a Git repository, and then our deployment takes care of everything and makes sure that the WordPress website runs on all the web application servers that are responsible for the website. So this plugin trying to make changes to the file system unfortunately doesn't work. I already had to make a few manual changes to get the website even running with the plugin, because the first thing this plugin tried was to unzip another plugin. And of course that failed too, so the whole website didn't run anymore. By manually unzipping the file on my workstation and then pushing the result to our hosting platform did work out then. But now I'm running into kind of the same problem when I set up templates and themes and things like that. So I'll probably have to spin up this website here locally where it can actually make changes, and then commit everything to Git and push that up, and that should solve the problem. And then once everything is set up with theming and all, there shouldn't be any problems anymore. The need for making these changes is only once, and that's at the beginning when I set up the website. So what I need to do today is set up a Docker setup with Docker Compose that allows me to run the WordPress here locally. Then I'll do the installation of theming and stuff, and hopefully that will result in something that I can commit to the Git repository, push to our hosting platform, and then I can start actually putting some content on the website. That's the first goal for today, as the !plan command will also tell you. And if there's still time after that, then I'd like to get into monitoring MySQL for this hosting platform that we are operating with hundreds of Linux servers. There's quite a bunch of MySQL servers between them as well. And I would like to switch our monitoring to Prometheus, but that requires that I also set up MySQL monitoring in Prometheus, and that will require a little bit of research, and then of course a little bit of experimenting to see how everything is set up, and then to automate everything. Because automation is key. If you want to run hundreds of Linux servers with a team of 2, then everything needs to be automated. Theo, good morning to you too. Everything is great. I just happily reported that I got my first Stripe payout for the course that I'm going to give end of this month, where I'm going to talk about Varnish, the caching proxy that can give websites a performance boost of 10 times, 100 times, maybe even 1,000 times. And yeah, it's a great piece of software, and I'll have a lot of fun talking about that. And people are already signing up. I already sold €1,500 in terms of course with my first course here, so I'm pretty happy. And tomorrow, this morning, as you know, I just came from a run when I joined your stream. I actually hit my personal best, so yeah, I'm pretty good. I'm pretty happy. Everything is going my way at the moment. And let's see if my Docker installation will fall in line, or if that will be the downer of the day. We'll see. So let's get to it. I've already started creating a Docker Compose file, but that was a bit of a dead end. JS Maniac, welcome to the stack. Yeah, running is great. I'm doing a mix of, well, so I'm still working on my stamina and trying not to do permanent damage to my old bones. So what I do is, if the weather allows it and I'm not into running, then I'll simply walk the 5K. And after that, my journey will probably lead me to Starbucks, where I have my morning coffee. And sometimes, at least once a week, I try to run it. And today I did that, and yeah, I'm quite happy with the result. So, Docker Compose. I tried to first use a Docker Compose file that used the WordPress image, but that actually has WordPress installed. And of course, I want to run my own WordPress setup, my own WordPress application. So I need something more generic, and that's going to be the PHP image. Thankfully, there's a PHP image that also comes with Apache already built in. So I have my web server, and all I need to add is the database server, as you can see up here. So, oh, thanks, folks, for all the great feedback. That's really helpful. You're making my day here. All right, so we'll replace the WordPress image with PHP. However, I'm not going to use the 7.2 example from the documentation on the right. So that's going to be 8.2 Apache. The container name can be WordPress. It doesn't actually matter, I think. We don't have an env file quite yet, and I don't think we will need one. Environment is also going to be empty for the time being. Our local application directory is named docroot. That's quite handy. That's dictated by our hosting platform. So I already set up a docroot folder, and it's very convenient that I can simply mount that into the document root of the Apache web server. Networks, app network. Let's keep that. That means that Docker Compose will create its own network for these two containers. I don't see why to do that, but I don't also see why not. So, yeah. Praxeus, welcome. Co-working a bit today. You're more than welcome to do so. It's always good to know that I'm not the only person in the world that's doing some work. So, I hope you're doing well. Okay. The WordPress container depends on the DB container that is appropriately named. It will set up a MySQL database called WordPress, and it'll store its MySQL data files in a volume that is helpful. However, what I'm missing here is the definition of that volume, I think. So we'll need a volumes section here. I'm not sure if that's going to be an array. So let's simply find out. MySQL Docker image. Thankfully, they all come with some kind of documentation here. And let's see. It doesn't even use a volume in this example, but this command extension is important, but I already have that because MySQL 8 started using a different password encryption internally, and in order to easily connect to the database, it's a good idea, at least in development, to have the default authentication set to MySQL native password. It even says restart always. I have restart unless stopped, which is basically has the same effect. Then we have an environment MySQL root password. Let's set that. So MySQL root password. We'll set that to root for the time being, just for simplicity's sake. It's a development environment after all. I'm having a great day too. Just reported that I saw the first revenue coming from Stripe for my course. So far, I've sold €1,500 worth of Varnish course, which is going to happen on February 27th. So if you're interested in web application performance, consider joining the course. There's still space. And also did a great run, my personal best 5K this morning. Feel a little bit tired now, so we might need another words on stream later just to keep my brain going. But other than that, I'm really doing great. wife and daughter are at IKEA, and you know what that means. Fragberg, don't hit the coffee machine. What has the coffee machine done to you? That's something a system administrator would never do. You would cut off your own lifeline. So let's research a little bit more, because I'm pretty sure we need a few more settings. Container shell access. Yeah, that's not too interesting. How about volumes, my dude? So here's the database that gets set up automatically. And of course, the database that we're setting here, called WordPress, needs to be configured in the WordPress configuration file too. We'll have to see if that's already the case. I don't actually quite remember. And there's a MySQL user and MySQL password. I would say, yeah, we do that too. You know what? I just realized there is an env file setting here with .env. And of course, that will allow us to define all these more sensitive things in the .env file, even though it's a development environment. Let's practice good operational security here and use the .env file. I think I'm simply going to go ahead and wait a second. I think the Docker Compose file is in the doc root itself. That needs to move outside. Can I use rename like this? Looks like it, yes. And that means we can also create a .env file. And in here, we can actually set the different things like the MySQL user, which we are going to call WordPress 2. Then the MySQL password is going to be development. The MySQL database is already set in the Docker Compose file, probably because that'll allow me to reuse that value in different places, which I do not do at the moment, but we'll see. And I don't mind that being in here. So we have a user and a password. The root password, do we need that? Well, we might, so we'll call it super user. You did actually give up coffee, Fragberg. Good on you. At first, I did not drink coffee because I didn't want to get addicted like many of the people that I saw who you couldn't even talk to in the morning until they had their first cup. Later I started... It sounds so strange. Oh, there's an alert, which I have to take a look. I have to take a look at. So I'll be right back. And I'm back. It wasn't too urgent, so I'll take care of that later. Okay, we have a root password, and that's about it, I think. Docker secrets. Oh, interesting. You could also use a secrets file. Interesting. Okay. Where to store data? That's the important question. So we can actually put valid MySQL into a volume, which we are going to do. I just wanted to see how that is done in Docker Compose. Oops, didn't want to click that. Well, did I? Where did I click? Yeah, I think that is actually what I wanted to do. But not with, yeah, here we are. Use a volume with Docker Compose. So all I need to do is to list it there, and it's a hash, not an array. So let's go here and add it to the volumes. I did use db data, and that's it. So db data is now mapped to valid MySQL. And that's pretty much it. All right. So all we have to do is now also map the configuration file where it needs to go. So what I'm going to do is map docroot /wconfig.dev.php to var www html wp config.php. So the config file that WordPress is going to look for is going to be a mount of my configuration file that I have here on disk. And now I just need to make sure that wconfig.dev also has the correct settings. That means let's take a look at the env file here. We have WordPress and development. So let's... Oh, no, that's not the right setting. User is WordPress and the password is development. And we're going to use DB as our DB host because that's how the container is going to be named. And we already have secrets or the salts set in here from our test environment. That should do the trick, but I'm not quite sure if that's the case. So let's give this a try. Fredberg just replaced one caffeine source with the other. Don't come to me looking all that righteous if all you do is substitute. Okay, now I'm in my shell where I need to be, and let's try and see if this is going to work. At least a little bit. Docker Compose is invalid. WordPress does not match any of the registers. X-. What is wrong here? Let's see. Where's my compose file? There's something wrong here. Yeah, WordPress is not indented properly. I'm only doing tea. It's a kind of tea served in Ukrainian prisons, but it's tea. Not sure if it's actual tea. But kefir is pretty great, but it's not quite tea, I think. Number 3, named volume is used in service WordPress, but no declaration was found in the volume section. Wait, what? I think we need to prefix this. So Docker knows it's actually meant as a local directory. And it uses an undefined Why do we use these networks in the first place? It's just a source of issues, isn't it? SourceDB is using valid MySQL from the previous container. Host mapping monospace website has no effect. Remove the existing container. Okay. It's using volume from the previous container. Host mapping is not recreate. Okay. It's attaching to DB. Ready for connections, but the WordPress. It might actually work. We haven't exposed a port though, have we? Yeah, that's something that we still need to do. So let me see, where does the PHP image expose Apache? Port 80, of course, so we need to map that somewhere. So usually I use port 4000 here, even though that will clash with other running test applications. I think I don't want to keep track of ports that I'm using here. So let's go with ports and let's map. I never know the order. But not 8080, let's use 4000, even if that is going to create a conflict. WordPress does run. MySQL does run. Was it actually that easy? It is. Your PHP installation appears to be missing the MySQL extension. Okay. MySQL EI PHP extension is needed. Okay, so let's see. There was talk about extensions. Some extensions are not provided with the PHP source, but instead available through Pickle. Okay, so we need to build this container. I see. Oh, okay, we can do that too. That means we need to, instead of using this image, we need to set this to build from dot. This image needs to go to the Docker file, which we have to create. So that's going to be the from PHP 8 to Apache. And then we'll have to do a run pickle install MySQLi. And it's recommended to use a version number. I'll simply use pickle install MySQLi, and then I'll see the version number that gets installed. And after that, and why is this indentation so strange? Okay. We'll have to basically then do a Docker PHP external MySQLi. Thank you, Copilot. That should do the trick. Let's see. Building WordPress. There was an issue. No releases available for package MySQLi. Some extensions are not provided by either core or Pickle. These can be installed too, although the process is less automated. Could it be that it's just not enabled by default? Because MySQLi seems like an extension that should be available from the get-go. Maybe I just have to enable that. Let's give that a try, just by trial and error. Let's simply do it like this. And let's try this. We should also get instant feedback because this enable will only work if the module is available. MySQLi does not exist. This is strange. Okay. I might have to do a little bit more research than I thought. Okay. So let's do that. Docker PHP MySQLi. See, apparently we just... Oh, there's Docker PHP ext install. Okay, that was quick. I switched how my focus switches between windows, and that keeps confusing me. So instead of PHP ext enable, we'll do PHP ext install. All right, let's give that a try. This even seems to have worked. Nice. Error establishing a database connection. Something went wrong. What do you want? Just asking. Hello, welcome to my Thursday stream. Let me try and get rid of... Well, let's see. Is there still this warning? Yeah. No, it got rebuilt, so... The volume errors that I got before didn't reappear. Okay. So I'll have to check if the database does get created or not. Maybe we'll tear down what is there in terms of let's see. Do I have to use Docker for that? There's no dedicated volume command for Docker Compose. Okay. Docker volume list. Ooh, so many. Okay, there's monospace website WP, DB, DB data, and WordPress. But that looks like it's containers. Volume, ls. Okay, interesting. There's also the failed Lando volumes that I need to clean up eventually. Let's see, monospace, DB, DB data, and WordPress. Why are there so many volumes? Did not ask for so many. There's DB data. I mean, these two, but those aren't named volumes. How strange. Okay, let's try and... I have an alias that should simplify things. And I should be able to do docker exec, docker compose exec, db bash, right? Yes. MySQL alone doesn't work, but MySQL-p with the super user password should work. That does not work, so apparently we were missing something. So maybe let's try and clean up things then. We'll stop this. And then we'll do docker volume ls, docker volume rm monospace, website wp underscore db data. That did actually work. Let's kill the other ones as well. db underscore db. No, it's wp underscore db. There is a container using that still, so let's do a docker rm 529012. That allowed us to delete that, and then there was the WordPress volume, right? Okay. Now docker volume ls grep monospace. No volumes. Okay, let's do another DC up, which should also include MySQL setting up the database, if the whole .env stuff works and things. Let's see, there is more than usual. Let's scroll up a little bit. So, there's MySQL setup stuff. Right. But you want just asking redeemed hydrate. Thanks for taking care of me. Now, let me try and access this again. That's docker compose exec db bash MySQL-p super user. No, that does not work. I think our .env mechanism doesn't really work. I'll give this a try simply by copying this in here. Hey! Why doesn't this work? I think the JSON language server or something is a little bit broken. Or the YAML one. Okay, so let's give this another try. I don't think that simply running DC up will fix this, or will it? Because I think this will only happen once when you set up the database. DC exec db bash -p super user. Oh, this did actually work. Okay. Show databases. There's WordPress. So we should be able to do a MySQL -u WordPress. Access denied, yes, because we need to have another password here. And that's development. Show tables, no tables, but we can log in. So let's see if that... Yep, cool. That means I can actually get a database dump from the test instance. And then I'll try and set things up with the automated theme setup. That's MySQL, which is running with root. Can I do the same for WordPress? And which user is it going to use? It's root as well. Does my Podman map that correctly? If I do a touch test.txt, everything belongs to root in here. If I leave this, that's in the docroot. Docroot test.txt. It belongs to me. That's amazing, because that means if the WordPress installation makes changes to its own file system, they will be properly stored in my local file system. I saw the answer. Hello, Nathan. Welcome to the stack. Good to have you. With such a great talk. Again, thanks for arranging the call. And yeah, have been thoroughly enjoying it. Now, let's get rid of that test.txt, because that will stick around forever if I don't delete it now. And now I need to get a database dump from my live test instance, and I'll probably need a few passwords for that. So bear with me while I work a little bit in secrecy. So, how do we do this? Site docroot. Current docroot. That should almost work. Let's try a MySQL dump. MySQL dump with a host that is that, with a user that is that, and a password. And then the database name, and we'll write that to my home directory. Still access denied. Ah, yes, there is an issue with MySQL dump. Is that documented in our... Yep, why does it fail? We need no table spaces. No table spaces, and column statistics equals 0. Let's see if there is a dump file. Yes, there is. Which means I should be able to get that. And I'll copy that to my temp directory. Let's see. I think we can lift the veil. What you want just asking? I have no idea. What do you mean a fine addition to my collection? I think that went over my head. Or do you collect clips of my failures? Let's see. We need that's C61S. But we'll need a site number S3277. S3277. And there should be a dump.sql, and we'll write that to home temp dump.sql. Ah, it's always nice. Oh, okay. Is it Star Wars or is it The Mandalorian? Because I don't think I'm familiar with the name. But I'm more a Star Trek guy, so I might just have missed it. And I have never watched The Mandalorian. I'll admit to my own shame. Should I? We have a dump. Now, how do I get a dump into this database? Into the MySQL usage against an existing database with a data directory that already contains a database. The root password variable should be omitted. Yeah, it makes sense. Creating database dumps, docker exec. We'll just run MySQL dump in the container and write it to somewhere where we can get it. And the same. Okay. So, hate it. Control A is my leader key for Tmux, and my muscle memory is not used to having to click on Windows to switch focus, but that will allow me to actually use the keyboard. So I should use the keyboard to switch focus between windows. That will teach me. So what am I going to do? I think I'm going to... You know what? Shouldn't I be able to use a pipe for that? If I do docker compose exec db mysql -u root, which is the default, -p superuser, and actually there is even something that you can enable in your shell. If your command starts with a space, this line that contains a potentially sensitive password will not be stored in the shell history. So if you have to use a password on your command line, simply prefix it with a space, and it shouldn't be stored in the history. I think it's a default settings. If not, then you can actually set that. That's Z shell. I'm more conservative that way. Z shell does all I needed to do, and so no need to look for greener pastures. So if I run this MySQL command, it will by default read from standard in. And so shouldn't I be able to actually, well, we need to name the database, that's WordPress. And if I do this, I'm not sure if that gets passed through Docker Compose exec, but it's worth a try, I think. This looks like there is something happening there. DB says MySQL native password is deprecated. I think that's new. Yep, that appeared when I did the dump. But I think it doesn't actually do the dump. I think now it hangs waiting for standard in to provide something, and it does not have anything. So Docker Compose exec actually breaks the pipe. Fragberg have a lot of fun turning those wheels. Okay, so we'll have to take another approach. I don't want to pollute my directory here too much. But I think we could do something like create a temp directory that will immediately ignore in Git.
It's a Unix system. I know this.
Wow, Pedro. Welcome to the stack. Good to have you. Thank you for your follow. Thanks for spending some time with us here. Now, that will enable me to mount temp where I want it to. And I'll do that here. This plugin is driving me nuts. There is an LSP or something that does strange things. I'll mount temp where I don't want to mount it in /temp, so I mount it as /import. Don't want to spend too much thought on this. So that's that, which means we can try and spin everything up again with this volume mapping. And in the meantime, we'll move the dump to my local temp directory. Git does ignore it, which is nice. I don't want to have that dump in my repository. It's actually taking quite some time to stop here. But let's let it do its stopping gracefully. Otherwise, I might corrupt my database, which won't be much of a problem, but patiently waiting is something. But not too patiently. Ah, here we go. It said a HTTP request took too long to complete. Did Apache, for some reason, block everything here? That is strange. No. Let's try this again. Posture check. Ah, what do you want? Just asking. Yeah, great to have. those sounds in my neck. Oh. Recreating database? You're not supposed to create a database. How strange. It did break after all. Well, okay. I guess that database is broken, and we'll start from fresh. Docker volume ls, grab monospace, and now there's only the db data volume in the first place, so let's do a docker volume rm monospace website wp underscore db data. And also have to kill the container bfe5c8. There's something still running. The WordPress container is still up. How strange. Docker. Is it DC stop? Even DC destroy? Nope, it's at least it's stop. Maybe now. Okay, docker kill. Ooh, there's something severely broken in here. Container state improper. Can I remove it now, please? Okay, thank you. So, yeah, nothing there. So let's try this again. So if I go into WordPress, DC exec WordPress bash, we should have a dump. Was it import? I think it was import, wasn't it? Yeah. But it didn't do it. Mr. M. Valdez, thank you for the tip. That's actually useful, yeah. It's not only good to memorize, that's probably something that you should create an alias for. Kill everything that's running and kill everything that's not running anymore as well. Not kill, but remove. That's a good cleanup job. Why didn't it create this second mount? There is no import. Didn't I save this? What's going wrong? Enterprise, switching to dedicated user. No indication what's wrong. Yeah, I know what's wrong. I am wrong. Not WordPress, DB. There you go.
System. I know this.
Mr. Valdez, thank you. I really appreciate the follow. Okay, so now we should be able to do a MySQL -p. Let's use the super user. WordPress, that's a database name from import dump. Okay, let's do a MySQL-p super user WordPress. Show tables, lots of tables there. Okay, that means we should be able to access the test website. It should not put us through the welcome wizard anymore. Okay, there is a little bit of a file system problem. No such file directory. That might actually be... Why is that? What's happening here? Tries to write a log, I guess. An index.php file in there? Well, that looks also broken. That's what gives applications like WordPress a bad rap. Plugins doing very strange things that might not actually be secure. No such file directory. I guess that's the function that executes it, and that's what it tries to do. We are missing the uploads. Yeah, we are missing the uploads. Tommy Luco, hello to you too. Welcome to Full Stack Live. I'm Jochen, the Monospace Mentor, and I'm doing my daily work here. In this case, I'm trying to set up a development instance for my new course website. And I'm fighting with Docker and file systems and stuff. I am living in Ireland, yes, that's correct. No Nix yet, at least, but hey, I can at least say I'm running Fedora Silverblue, so I'm not completely behind the curve. I did not find enough time to warrant getting into Nix yet. Yeah, okay, but I'm sure you remember how much effort it was to get there. And that's not something that I can actually justify at the moment. I have so much stuff to do that I can't actually justify putting a lot of time into that. And yes, I would want to do it right. I would probably want to run my workstation on Nix then. And since that's my work station from which I'm running two businesses now, that needs to be working. And Fedora Silverblue does a great job at keeping this workstation working. Okay, so the WP content directory is missing because that on our hosting platform gets provided by the hosting platform. So it's not part of the repository, so it's not part of this installation. I guess I should do the same thing that our hosting platform is doing, namely mapping a volume, in this case, to this directory and take care of that that way, and then it'll also be preserved. So let's go into our Docker Compose file. There is space for one more volume, I guess. And in this case, I'll call it WP data. Do I need to access these files directly? We'll see. For the time being, I'll leave them in a hidden volume just to keep things simple. And we'll mount that to var www.html WP content. That should do the trick. If I have to access these files extensively, I might actually map it to a directory on my file system here. But for the time being, I'll try and keep this repository as clean as possible. which means we'll have to restart. Tommy Lucas says, but for work dev stuff, Nix shells are just so amazing to work with that I could not live without it anymore, especially since those also work on macOS. Yeah, I see what you mean. Having shells that are specialized on the use case that you have at the moment is great. I'm doing something similar here on Fedora Silverblue by using Container Toolbox and DistroBox, where I can actually, if I want to, spin up shells that are self-contained because they are running in a container, but tightly integrated with the host system. Actually, I'm running in one of these toolboxes at the moment, as you can see from the host name in my prompt here. And that works nicely too. I usually don't set up toolboxes for specific projects, but that's mostly because I didn't see the need so far. Were there a project that would require me to install a lot of stuff that I would never touch again, I would probably install it in its own distro box or toolbox, but that wasn't the case quite yet. Okay, so it says named volume. Yeah, we didn't declare it, so let's declare it. WP data. Let's try again. And now... not local. Oh, it redirects us, huh? Yep, it does. Well, that looks like it's working a little bit. But now we'll have to change a few settings for WordPress itself. We could do that in WP config. Let me see what we can do in here. There's not much that is provided for us in here, but I do recall that we can make a few changes here. So let's see, wp config.php, where's the documentation? It's unlikely that a non-developer would have to edit. In this case, you're acting on troubleshooting steps provided by a technical person or by a hopeware. This page should help. So let's take a look at that. We have set the database stuff. That is taken care of. There is an alternate port. That's for the database. Let's skip that. Database collation, security keys. Advanced options, the site URL, that's exactly what I'm looking for. So let's actually put that here. Define WP site URL. Not 8080, but 4000. And since everything is commented nicely, set the dev host name. Let's add another comment here too. Tommy Luca wrote, especially sharing full-on shells with flakes with other people or between systems for projects is so handy and so fast. Oh yeah, and DRN is definitely something very useful, even outside of Nix shells, isn't it? You can use that independently too. Yeah, I think Nix does a few interesting things, and it's getting easier as far as I'm following it, and so it'll get there eventually, that it's easily usable. Okay, that's where the second Copilot suggestion came from. Okay. But let's try it with localhost 4000 for the time being. And that means we need to again try and start and stop again. Or the other way around, actually. Do I still have coffee? You're right, Tommy. Yeah. Documentation is getting better and easier to grasp, but it's still quite a complex system. Okay, I think I can actually close this and close this and close this. I think I closed one too many because that was my test instance. Let's see. We need to go to 4000 again and hopefully we'll stay there. Secure connection failed. Yeah, who said we want a secure connection? We can't have any. It doesn't automatic redirect. Okay. Is that because we have a .htaccess? There isn't one, is there? There is no .htaccess, so it's WordPress itself that tries this SSL redirect. Is there a way to suppress that? Or did we actually write HTTPS in the WP config? Did Copilot do something that's... No, it's HTTP. Okay. Let's see, SSL. I think we can actually try and wait. Define force SSL admin false. A reload might actually work. If it doesn't, we'll do... Nope, we're still going to localhost again. Let me see how this actually looks like. Yeah, WordPress itself sends us a redirect here. And that's despite the WP config, which it is supposed to read again. If it doesn't do a include once. So let's try and restart it. I mean, it isn't too hard. Apparently things aren't crashing anymore. Hey Balthasar, how you doing? I could actually, yeah, that's a good thought. I could actually fake SSL by passing xforward 4 and forwarded proto HTTPS. So many extensions? There aren't many extensions. Most of these things are background processes like the Dropbox and stuff. I have a few extensions for my to have a dock and things like that, but let me see. Not that I feel attacked or anything, but I'm pretty sure I don't have too much stuff. I mean, let's see. Yeah, I think that's reasonable. Dash to panel isn't even used, so I could actually get rid of that. Focus changer is something that allows me to change focus with the keyboard. That does make sense. Grand Theft Focus does the same thing. Oh no, that's the strange GNOME message. Yeah. Highlight focus. Tiling assistant helps me with window arrangements. Don't think I'm even... Am I using Dracula as my theme? Yeah, probably. So yeah. I mean, yeah, if you are... No offense taken. I just was curious myself if the number of extensions that I'm running had grown over time. Isn't it? It's really the dumbest notification there is. Mr. M. Valdez, thank you for stopping by. Hope to talk soon. Enjoy your stand-up. Now, how to teach WordPress not to actually force. I did restart, so will this setting work? Or do we actually have to do more trickery? Okay, we do stay on port 4000 now, but it still tries to redirect us. And that's probably because we are not even trying to access the admin interface yet. So let's see if there is more with regard to SSL in here. No, there isn't. So let's search for that. WordPress development Punit Arya. Welcome to the stack. I appreciate you following. Development prevent SSL redirect. WP content URL. WP content URL? We did set the site URL. What is the content URL? We could be hit by this hard-coded URLs in the WP database, but that would probably manifest itself by redirecting us to the test website on the internet. So I'm not sure if that's actually the case. There is a force SSL login, but that's apparently, well, this part is WP engine specific, but this one, force SSL login, let's give that a try. Keyboard, not mouse. So let's try this. Force SSL login. Okay. Since we are still on localhost, let's try this directly. Nope, doesn't work. Let's stop and start it. Now it also threw us out of port 4000. So annoying. I did already consider simply using a different web hosting solution that still would allow me to make file system changes of the running instance, because that's the problem that I'm trying to solve. One of the plugins that I'm going to use, it's a learning management plugin, tries to modify the file system, which it can't on my company's hosting platform. So I'm trying to run this locally, and now I'm running into these stupid... wait, what? There is an underscore server HTTPS in WP config. That's not supposed to be there, is it? HTTPS? Nope. That would explain it. That's a that would be a PHP setting. Oh, it says add any custom values between this line. So let's move that stuff here. So that way it's easier to distinguish from the default settings. Yeah, this is frustrating. These are the things that take a lot of time to resolve. Not sure if this page is actually really helpful. There's a WordPress Stack Exchange entry here. Let's try the WP Home as well. I guess we'll do something like this. WP Home. That looks like it could work. Wait, this... Now I'm getting a 200 OK here. Why don't I? Here. I should probably try and remove site data for localhost, yes. Localhost 4000. Woohoo! Widescreen of death. Yes, at least we are a step further. Now. We get a response link WP JSON. Why does it think we are doing a API request? Is it WP login or something, or is it just login? 404.
It's a Unix system. I know this.
It's also 404. Romide, welcome to the stack. Glad to have you. Let's see. What is a well-known URL here? WordPress login URL. WP admin. Let's try that. What happens if we try to access the admin interface? Ooh, nice. But now it did redirect us to the test website from which we imported the database. We could actually try and reset the settings in WP options. Since I won't be needing the database I will need the database contents, won't I? This whole installation process will not only make changes to the file system, but also to the database. So I could change settings in the database now to get it running here, and if I re-import that on the test or even production instance, then I would have to change the same settings again. Okay, this is so tedious. WordPress, WP, I still remember there is something in WP options, site URL, right? Migrating WordPress. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do, aren't I? Yeah, okay, I should have read that before. Here's WP home and site URL. Functions PHP shouldn't have anything in there, I think. Maybe we should take a look and let's see. Oh wait, changing. No. Relocate method supports an automatic relocation method intended to be a quick assist to getting a site working when relocating a site from one server to another. We could do that in ooh, that's interesting. Relocate to. Huh. That looks pretty convenient, actually. Romite, if you are already running a 4-node home lab setup, you might be actually further ahead than I am. I only have one, albeit quite big, home lab server here beside my desk. But yes, this is definitely a stream where we can talk about all the sysadmin and operations type stuff. So if you have any questions, feel free to post them in chat. And actually tomorrow at 2 p.m. UTC, which is also local time here in Ireland, I'm going to do my weekly office hour where all I do is actually answer questions. So tomorrow I don't even have to split my attention between what I'm doing here and your questions. Tomorrow I'm all yours, trying to come up with something that sounds at least coherent. Okay, a Pi-based setup. Okay, nice. I got myself a HP workstation from 2018, equipped it with 32 terabytes of disk space and 128 gigabytes of RAM, and now it's running Proxmox and doing me a great service by running all my stuff here, including my whole home assistant setup, controlling the house and stuff. So, relocate. What does relocate actually do? Is this interesting? Set URL scheme, HTTPS. No, please don't. There is an option site URL. Oh, and it will update the option to the URL. Their names. It's going to do another HTTPS, isn't it? I mean, it's not going to be more wrong than before, I guess. And if we've exhausted our options in terms of automation, then we can still make the change locally. Might have fun lurking. Thanks for stopping by. It's good to know that other people are doing work too. Okay, so let's see what this relocate option does. Let me make sure I've saved. Always remember, folks, Jesus saves, and so should you. That's that. Now let's go back to localhost 4000. Which does not work anymore. We did so much. I'm so close to shooting myself a 1-month hosting at WP Engine, do the whole installation there, export both the file system and the database, and then run it on our hosting platform. That sounds like that sounds like one of the easiest ways to go about things. What do you want? Just asking. Redeemed another hydration, which might actually help with my mood. Although I'm pretty close to switching to hydrating with whiskey, but yeah. Wait, I'm an idiot. I haven't even started my instance here. Maybe you shouldn't redeem hydrate, but re-enable brain. But I don't think that's a valid redemption yet. I should add that to the channel redemptions. Now, localhost 4000. What's going to happen? Still widescreen of death. But let's see what curl says to that. And we can try WP admin again. Let's see. It still does the redirect. Okay. And there is an actual WP login PHP. Okay. But we need to add the PHP. Interestingly, it sets a WordPress test cookie. Oh, you mean that require the two of us to enable our brains then, in the end? There is no redirect yet. What does it serve me? It looks like it serves me a page. What kind of a page does it actually serve? Oh, there is stuff, but it looks like... Wait. Let's try and get rid of local storage again. It does not have any stored stuff. Okay. Why do I get this white screen of death, though? Let's see. Because it sends me an API response. Not sure why. And if I do WP login, I get a page. So let's try WP login then. Huh. Okay. What about... Oh, let's not remember that. Oh, okay. Success was closer than I thought. But that does not look like the origin page. Plugin file does not exist? How's that possible? The Lemon. Welcome. Welcome. How's everything overall? Pretty good. Had a great start to my day so far, but WordPress is wrecking my brain at the moment, and I think I'm a little bit tired. In part because I had a great 5K run this morning, but that really tends to mess with me.
It's a Unix system. I know this.
Digital Hydra! Welcome to the stack. To every single one of your heads. How's that possible? Doc root. There's your content, right? Oh wait, did I mount content instead of content uploads? I might have made a mistake in my Docker Compose. Yeah, I mounted WP content. I am an idiot because that was supposed to be uploads. So, I think we better remove that volume after stopping everything. Let's do another Docker volume ls. In this case, we'll remove the WP data, which is another Docker volume rm. And Docker rm A2EF77. And if I do another DC up now, what happens? This is looking much better. That might also explain why we had issues with the site itself. Let's see what curl does now. If I simply go to the main page, now I don't get the API response, I get the full page. So that looks good. I'm not sure why all my plugins are disabled now. That should have been enabled in the database. Am I supposed to re-import the database? Just to make sure that everything is as it's supposed to be.
It's a Unix system. I know this.
Snuggles94, what a cozy name. Welcome to FullStack Live. So, what do you think, chat? Should I re-import my dump? Because I would have expected the plugins that I had activated on the test page still be activated. That should have come with the database, and for some reason it did deactivate it, because probably it wasn't able to find the plugins. I could re-enable them manually. That seems to work. Oop, there's another failure. www content plugins. It tries again to access learn-logs index.php, which, yeah, the file might not exist yet, but uploads should actually exist. Let me see if uploads is now working at least. If your plugins are multi-tenant aware, you might have a bad time because I changed the domain name. Yeah, could be. Let me see how the WordPress container looks like from the inside. DC exec WordPress bash. WP content. That looks clean. Uploads is empty. Can we write to uploads though? WP content uploads test.txt. That does work. Yep. And I mean, I did import the database from my test website. Maybe I should also import the files, huh? What do you think? Let's try and do that. I will... Let's see. What am I going to do? We'll stop everything. Then... Yeah, exactly, Balthazar. I did not think of importing uploads because I did not upload anything myself, but I did not take into account that plugins might actually write stuff there. So, and that's actually the only place where they can write something on our hosting platform, because the uploads directory is mounted to a shared network storage, to our storage cluster. And so that's actually the only place where they can write anything, and they probably did. So let's try and preserve that as well. Now, I've stopped everything. I will be able to get the volumes. There are only two, thankfully. So let's do a volume rm wp data, which will again require us removing the container first. And then we'll do the same for the database. I mean, we'll re-import the dump, which will And we can even do a drop database manually when we re-import the dump. So that I don't need to actually kill the volume. I can easily kill the content. Now I need to download the uploads stuff. And that will require me to actually access the volume. This is the point in time where we actually need to make this a local volume. Yep. So I'll create this here, WP data. We'll exclude it from Git. And then let me open a fresh shell for here where I can actually change the directory without confusing myself. So let's go into WP data, and my most recent SSH command can be changed to an SCP command. Do we need -r? Probably. That's going to be in site current doc-root WP content uploads, and we'll copy all that here. Yeah, these are the index.php files the plugin is missing. That's that. Now I can close this. We'll restart everything. Then I'll do a db bash. I will simply re-import the dump. But I'll have to specify that we're going to write into WordPress. That's that. Now, if I go into localhost 4000 WP admin, again, issues. Permission denied. Why is that? Oops, no, did not want to do that. Let's go into WP data again. So it tries to go into uploads, learn dash, logs, index.php, and that does exist. What's in there, actually? Are you kidding me? Is that some kind of hack to see if the directory exists or something? Thanks, Praxeus. Talk later. Okay, permission denied. Why is that? I guess we need to investigate inside the container. So dcexec WordPress bash WP content uploads. We have 750 here. That might actually be the reason why. Is that the case outside as well? Where are we? That's in WP data. Okay, interesting. So let's try find for the directories. And for the files. How about now? Still? Really? Tries to write to it. That does look pretty neat on the actual file system. And here as well. Right, let's go back into uploads. Yeah, it is reflected inside here too. But we don't have a group or all write access. And Apache is not running with root access. So I think we need to make a few changes here. I guess we'll have to use www-data, right? So we'll have to give this whole directory www-data group. No, it's not change group, is it? Wait, change? It is change group. I haven't used it in a while. What you want? Just asking. It's probably not a dumb question, but I don't know yet what you mean. What the line command did? Don't recall using a line command? Or do you mean the find command? Yeah, okay. I'm missing the X-arcs here. Okay. That didn't change anything. Huh? Wait. What am I doing wrong here? Oh, yeah, I changed the files, but not the... that is... Everything in uploads needs to change, and then we'll need to change the... write permissions for the group, which means that I need to do a change mod group write for files and directories, so that applies to everything as well. And that should give Apache permissions to change stuff. And we could actually remove the other permissions here. Since we are running in dev, I don't mind it being different. Let's see. Yeah, that looks better. And I should be able to use my credentials here. Okay, and the plugins are enabled. As I can see, there's the discourse and the learn-lms. That is very nice. I think we are at the point where I wanted to be. And it's already 4 o'clock. Oh dear. So no Prometheus today, I guess. The find command followed by the exarchs. Yeah, happy to explain that because that's a really, really handy command. Oh dear. I'll never learn it, will I? If you want to change stuff for a lot of files, as I want to do in my uploads directory here, if I do an ls-l, I was able to see, okay, all these files belong to root because that's how they were mapped into the container. On my actual host file system, they belong to my own user. And so everything was belonging to root, and that was the reason why WordPress was not able to modify files, even in the uploads directory, where it really is supposed to be able to change files, because that's where the uploads through WordPress are going to land. So yeah, that was an installation error from my side. And so there I had to make a few changes. The goal is to enable WordPress, and from a system perspective, that is the Apache web server, to be able to make changes in this directory. The Apache web server only runs with root permissions for a very short time when you start it, because it needs to, for example, occupy port 80, which only root is allowed to do. But then Apache does something that we call, it drops its permissions and assumes a different user account. And in most Linux distributions, especially the ones that stem from Debian, that's the www-data user and group. Apache uses a user account and a group that is both that are both named www-data. And so I needed to give the Apache server write permissions. Now that I'm explaining it, thanks for being my rubber duck, I realized that I could have simply changed the ownership of these files to www-data. And that's actually going to be the case for newly created files, because it is Apache, it is the user www-data that creates these files. So new files will actually belong to the Apache user. The way I chose to do things is to keep the owner of these files, which is still root, but change the group assigned to these files and give that group write permissions as well. So not only the owner can write files in here, but also the Apache group. And now I had the job of changing the file permissions and file ownerships for all these files. In Linux, you can always break things down into kind of atomic parts and then use a very specific command to achieve that job. And so in this case, I had to split it apart. The whole job is assign a new group to all files. And that splits up into find all files and then change their group. And that's exactly what I did. I used the find command, which at least needs an argument where to find stuff. And if you don't narrow things down with more arguments, it'll simply find all files in the directory that you pass in. And that's the dot directory in my case, so my current directory, and that will find all the files that are in and under this directory. Okay, as you can see, this then results in a list of all the files, starting with my current directory and down until it has listed all the files. And it does even list the hidden files, as you can see here with these htaccess files, which is quite handy. Okay. That's the first part done. And now I need to change the group assignment of these files, for which the change group command is used. But change group usually expects the list of files it is supposed to change as arguments. So one way to do things would be to use shell replacement to let the shell construct this list of arguments. And you can do that by entering change group. Here I need to list, I need to tell change group the group that I want to change or to assign. And now I need a list of all the files. And I can do that by using backticks or the dollar parentheses syntax. There are two alternative ones, but they are equivalent. And now I can say find dot, which will again create this list of files. And this list of files will then replace where I have written this command. That's what the backticks do. And so what will in the end be executed is the change group command with a huge list of file names. And I can demonstrate that by prefixing this with echo, which will simply output what comes behind. And if I do that, you can see that is the resulting command. It does change group, Apache group, dot, then dot 24, 2402, and so on with this huge list of files. I could have done it this way, but there is one issue that you can run into if you are doing it this way, and that is the shell command line has limits. They are pretty far, but there are limits in terms of how long this command can be. And since I can't actually tell how long this list is going to be without first counting all the entries, I usually don't do it that way. The alternative is to use xargs. Xargs does a very similar thing. You pass in a list via the standard in. So I pipe the result of find dot into the xargs command, and xargs will then take everything that comes in via standard in and add it as arguments to the command that I pass in as an argument. In this case, it will actually take everything and add it as arguments to my echo command. So as you can see, again, I get the same list of file names. What's the difference to the backticks before? Because this line can again become very long, can't it? Yes, it can, but xargs is intelligent enough to stop adding new files to the command line once it has reached a dangerously long command line. It will then execute this command line and then run another command, another echo command in this case, with the remaining files. So if you have a huge list of files, the xargs command might actually execute this command 3, 4, 10 times, just to not break the command line length limit. As you can see in our case, there is no new line in between, so xargs was able to run it as a single command. But in this case, that's the main difference. Xargs makes things a little bit safer because it knows about the shell command line length limit and breaks the command down into multiple executions. And so in the end, all I had to do was not use echo as my command, but change group Apache. And that way I got all my files assigned to the www.data group, and then I did the same with the change mod command, which changes the mode or the permissions of a file, and by telling it to add write permissions for the group. That's what this G plus W does. Only change the group permissions and change them by adding write permissions if they are not already there. I did the second part so that now everything belongs to the Apache group, and this middle permissions block here is actually RWX, which means the group can read, write, and execute, and that's what I wanted to achieve. Did this explanation makes sense. Was I too quick? Were you able to follow what I was saying? I hope you did. If not, let me know and we'll try another explanation. More than happy to explain these things because I love to teach. That's actually why I'm very excited to be starting my community. Why doesn't the community command work anymore? Oh, is the... How strange. Did we lose connection to Twitch? Give me a second. Yeah, it says connecting. Okay, let's try that again. Okay. Again, that's why I'm excited to be starting my community, because that will be very focused on teaching. It's a paid membership community because I want to allocate a lot of time, a lot of my time, to questions that come in, to writing helpful explanations and things like that. So if you are seriously interested in increasing your software engineering or system administration skills, please consider joining the server room, which is the name that I've given my community. You'll get a big slice of my TLC. Okay, now LearnDash did actually work. So we've reached the point where I can do what I wanted to do, and that's this design your site thingy here. I can actually choose a template, and I'd like to use the digital course template. Where are you? Every time I get this page, the order is different, so that is pretty confusing. And I'd like to use Mozilla and Source Sample. That's, I think, a nice combination of fonts, even though it's a little bit yeah, you can see that combination quite often. I am outside your house, boy. Welcome to the stack. Come in. Come in. Thanks for the follow. What do you think? Should I use a different...
Can't even see anything.
Wait, what? That's not true. You can see everything. You can't fool me, man. I am not going to redeem that. Use it when I fail to switch scenes, or if I don't lift the privacy shield anymore. So what do you think? Should I use a different font combination? That's a little bit more interesting. What's that font? That's Prosa Libre and open source. It's a little bit more edgy with the actual edges. Question is, do I want to be a little bit more edgy? I'm not that edgy of a guy. You can see, right? Yeah. Thought so. Nope. Nope. Apologies for being a plain Jane, but I'll use Montserrat. And what is it? Source Sample. Okay, that's that. And then we'll need a different color theme. I like orange, so let's choose that, and I have to add a few more colors later. And now when I pressed next on our hosting platform, nothing happened because there was no write access to stuff. Let's see. Well, that's not going to be the case either now, because the uploads do belong to the Apache user, but my WordPress files don't. Those still belong to root, so this might actually fail just as much as it did on the hosting platform. I just realized. Let's see what happens. Yes, please continue. We are still on localhost 4000, so it does AJAX requests. Interesting. And it does hang as it did before. I'm pretty sure they expect everything to be writable. Well, I guess we can do that. What do we have to do? That's root. Let's see, if I do the same trick as before, let's keep the root user, because that's mapped to my own user on the file system, and I'd like to have still access to these files. And we'll do a change group for the Apache user now. Yeah, xargs, of course. The args are missing if I don't use xargs. And then we'll do another change own with write access. No, change mod, not change own. Okay. Now everything is writable for Apache. How does this look on the host system? Let's see. Yeah, everything now belongs to user 32 or group 32, which isn't a problem because it still belongs to user GWIS, my own user account. And there are lots of writable files now.
I know this.
Midnight Baker, welcome. Thanks for the follow. Yeah, we can repair these writes if I want to later. Let's just see if this whole theming thing will now work. This still hangs. It might actually not be the way to go in the first place. If it doesn't even work on this highly modified installation here. That's not good. Folks, if you develop something, make sure to verify to check your assumptions. Because what this wizard tries to do is not really compatible with many hosting environments. Yeah, xargs is one of the most important tools in your tool belt if you're working on the shell. Because it can take a list from anywhere, from a file or from another command, and turn that into arguments for the next command. It's super useful. Oh, I'm getting a little bit of a headache, actually. Maybe it's also because it's too warm in here. 25 degrees. Dear me. Let's open the window a little bit more. But it's also been a long day so far. Well, well, well. How do I even find out what's happening here? No changes to theming and stuff. I really wonder if the idea that I had earlier to install that on another hosting platform, even if I had to pay for another month, would even work. Because if it doesn't work locally with all the changes I made here, would it work elsewhere? Maybe I'll just get another theme set up. It would have been easy to simply get the theming from this.
It's a Unix system. I know this.
Limal is bad. Welcome to the stack. Thanks for joining us here. Suffering the hell that is WordPress plugins. Okay. Is there a way to do this manually? Is there a way to do this manually? Maybe I can do without this wizard. The thing is, the theme is not yet installed, is it? Yeah, and that's what it is trying to do here. It tries to install the theme. And for some reason it can't. If I were to install this theme, I would have to go into, let's see, yeah, I can do this here. I would have to go into WP content and then into themes, where I do have write access as the Apache user. Balthazar, let me know. Okay. Now, what do you suggest, Balthazar? inode, welcome. Hope you're having a great Thursday. So that's this LD30 theme, right? And if I moved that into the themes folder, I see your point. I don't think, however, that it's still a DNS problem or a naming problem, because now we are consistently working with localhost 4000. This seems to be working. So far, I haven't seen anything where this would break. I did assume, and yes, I said assume your assumption, verify your assumptions, that it's about write permissions, but now Apache does have write permissions everywhere. And it's really, yeah, you're right. If there was a log or something that could tell me where the issue is, that would be nice. At the moment, I'm thinking about doing the same thing again that I did with the plugin earlier. So what this LearnDash plugin tried to do earlier was to also install the LearnDash licensing and management plugin, and by unzipping that in the plugin folder, which of course didn't work. So I did it myself, which did work. And now I'm thinking, let's do the same thing with the theme as well. Let's try that. If I simply go ahead and do a copy the LD30 theme, which seems to be what we need. Maybe the helpers PHP as well, not sure, but that might be a helper for the whole installation stuff. I could also take a look at the themes loader PHP to see what it's actually trying to achieve. If I go ahead and copy that to where are we? That's the plugins folder. So here to themes. That did work. But yeah, I'm root. That means broken themes. Style sheet is missing. Style sheet is missing. Okay, so this theme loader also generates the style sheet with the colors that I selected. So I'm actually dependent on this whole wizard thingy. That is disappointing. What happens if I press delete? It tries to do it via FTP. No, I'm not going to install an FTP server just for this to work. Oh my god. So let's actually do a rm-r LD30. I thought so too, I know, but the thing is, now in my development environment, which I did install especially for this reason, to be able to screw around with these things, does not like files with root. Yeah, I did something else, and that's assign the Apache group and assign write rights. I could have, well, let's screw around and change everything to the Apache user, actually. I am desperate that way. So let's go to www.html. But that's exactly why I really dislike plugins that do things like that, because I'll never be able to do these things on my own hosting platform, because the hosting platform doesn't allow write access to files. Not only for safety reasons, but also because my hosting platform runs WordPress from dozens of web application servers at the same time, with load balancing and high availability. So WordPress changing local files doesn't do anything for the other 9 servers that run the same code base. That's why everything has to run via Git and is centralized and then deployed by the hosting platform itself. Plugins that do these kinds of shenanigans really screw things up for more sophisticated hosting platforms. So yeah, I'm happy if I can get it done here locally. Then I'll have to fix everything, commit that to Git, and push it. That is really, really tedious. Balthasar asking, do you have a temp directory that the theme installer is trying to extract to that doesn't have appropriate permissions? Might be the case, yeah. That might actually be the case. Do you think I should take a look at these things? I can do that. So let's go into content, plugins, LearnDash. Where did it do these things? Design wizard and stuff. It was in the themes folder, right? So where is that? Here, themes loader. It tries to pull in this, and then it runs the PHP files for legacy and LD30. So let's see first how this registration works. I would assume that all that stuff is happening in the database. Do action themes in it. No file access so far. This looks all like stuff that happens in the database. But knowing my lock, we'll get to a function that does a lot of file access in the end. We're almost through the file. These are all nice one-liner functions. From a code readability standpoint, this all looks pretty neat. Nice naming as well. LearnDash is active theme. Okay, that didn't look too bad. Let's see what this index PHP does. Okay. Themes register, and then settings section theme. Okay, what does this register do? Actually, it looks like it hardwires themes to the directory they're in without trying to moving them anywhere. I think we should. Have you tried installing WCLI? No, I haven't, but don't see this helping at the moment. Thanks for another hydrate. And I've now run out of coffee, so the next hydrate will require me to grab my water bottle from downstairs. Now, no errors. No access log either, because everything gets logged in write to Docker. So if there were any errors, we should see them upstairs here. But there's nothing that looks like it would help. Yeah, being a little bit tired doesn't really help with debugging that stuff. Now, the second thing that it did was these settings, right? How about the style thingy, though? I mean, I could always get a decent theme outside of what LearnDash is bringing with it. Even though I paid for it, and part of that was because it would get me a quick start in terms of theming. So... Why doesn't it work? But that was when I simply moved or copied the theme from the source directory basically to the themes folder. And I think the wizard does something to the style sheet. It does probably create the style sheet. As inode says, the style sheet error is due to the fact that WordPress can't write to... No, it's not because it can't write to the folder. That's definitely out of the question. It has write permissions everywhere. I haven't changed the user yet. I think that was what I was about to do and then forgot about it. So let's try and do that now. I can actually find dot change own data. Again, xargs, not... Okay. It would be interesting if it worked now. I would be surprised, actually. But still, let's go back. This looks still like it's supposed to look. Let's save and continue. Say I understand. No progress. Something just hangs. I think it's mod PHP. Oh! Well, fuck me. Inode was right all along. No idea why, but... Damn. Okay. And WordPress is even mocking me. Look at that. Thanks, inode. My watch tells me wrap up work.
Can't even see anything.
But you can! I am inside your house, boy. Maybe... Are you actually facing the screen? Look where the voice comes from. My two viewers with the longest names are contradicting themselves. Contradicting each other. Okay, friends, so... Oh, man. Okay. Well... I mean, there's a lot of stuff that I need to change, but we have a decent theme that will enable me to get this site running quite quickly. Yeah, I think that's similar to what I'm going to do as well. Now let me take a look. Not sure if Git status will actually help me a lot. Huh, interesting. All these ownership changes didn't actually make
Can't even see anything.
a lot. I hate you. I don't. Just kidding. That's surprising. I expected everything to turn up here because I changed so many permissions and stuff. But it did actually just show my own changes here with Docker and my configuration file. And then there's now the Cadence blocks plugin. Okay, and the Cadence starter template plugin and the Cadence theme. So lots of stuff that was written there. But yes, Git does care about permissions, actually. For example, if you have executable files, you need to actually make them executable, then check them in. And if you change permissions, I think that will usually show in Git as well. I'm actually quite surprised that I see only the very raw changes that I actually want to see. I expected my whole code base to turn up here as an update. Because look at that, most of that stuff doesn't belong to me anymore. Well, everything doesn't. If we take a look at doc-root, apart from the configuration file here, that can actually be deleted because I don't need that anymore. Now it tells me permission denied because I don't have permissions to even change the directory contents. I mean, I can always fix that, but yeah. Very strange. Change own. Gee, no. What user did I have before? Root. Okay. Change on root. No. Can I now? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that was mapped back to my user here. Huh. Yes, that's I know that's exactly why I know, because sometimes, for example, in my .files directory, there are, of course, scripts. And before I switched to Chemois, I had to make them executable, actually. Chemois now works differently, which is quite nice. It's a little bit more involved because you now have to do this. I had to prefix everything with ._ where there is supposed to be a dot in the end, and files that are supposed to be executable need to be prefixed with executable, and Chemois will then remove that. So since I switched to Chemois takes care of these things. It renames the files and assigns them the proper permissions. Before I used RCM, and back then RCM simply used the raw files, so I had to make them executable and commit them in that way. I'm not really sure why that's not the case here, but hey, I'm happy because I can now see exactly where the changes are. And I think I'll start by simply pushing these changes. And see how it looks on the test website. Not sure if there were many database changes as well. I guess there were. But maybe I can get around of importing them. Well, I should be able to import them as well. Yeah, it does make things a little bit more. Sorry, I'm running dry, actually. But since I'm going to wrap up anyway, I'm not going to go downstairs and get something to drink. Yeah, it makes things a little bit more involved to set up, but once you have things set up, and it takes an hour or so in terms of Shimwa, yeah, it shouldn't take longer than an hour. Then it's really nifty and it works really, really nice. Because it can also do stuff like install things for you. So now I have these hooks where I can actually have Shimwa run this post hook that, for example, automatically installs all my NeoVim plugins. It even changes deconf settings. That does actually explain why some of my GNOME settings keep changing. I should probably update this. Yeah, so things like that make things a little bit easier. And at least none of these files need to be hidden, actually, because that, I think, makes things very unwieldy if you are actually dealing with dot files as the source files. In this case, it's just files that start with a literal dot underscore. Okay, well, this is nice and all. Let's actually try and do these things. Since the Docker file no, the Docker Compose file, I think, already has these values hardwired. I think I'll delete the .env file here. I don't know why it didn't work, but it did not. And I don't want to spend time on finding out what the issue was here, because it's just a dev environment, so I don't mind these passwords being in there. I actually hope that GitLab is not going to slap my wrists because I have passwords in there. That would be a pain. So with that done, there's just the git ignore and the Docker file and the Docker Compose file. That is nice. And then there's my development configuration, which doesn't really matter. It's going to be ignored. And then we have the 2 additional plugins and the Cadence theme. So yeah, let's do this. GCM after learn dash design wizard. Let's push this. And now let's go to test.monospacementor.com. Yes, I need to password protect that, but at the moment there's nothing on there that's somehow sensitive. No design in there, so we are missing database settings, quite obviously. Let's see, but the theme should at least be there. Here's Cadence. What would the live preview look like? I would say that it's missing a lot of stuff. I don't think I can go this route and simply enable it, can I? Yeah, I think that wizard made a lot of changes, including a palette and all these things. So yeah, I think I'm going to simply re-import the database. And if that then screws up the test site, that's not a problem. I will probably be able to fix that quite easily. Professor wrote, it seems like it's almost possible to bootstrap an entire system, dependencies and all with it. Yeah, I'm not sure if I would go that way, but I think it's possible. Cadence. I'm not going to activate it, or am I? Cadence is a publicly available theme, isn't it? And it's a paid theme from the same company as LearnDash, I assume. Cadence theme. Now, do we have a documentation? Theme installation? You're supposed to simply activate it. Interesting. Let me see what happens. Since I'm going to install or re-import the database anyway. Well, that didn't change anything. Yeah, that's... I see, yeah. You know what happened? Yeah, I got the theme now. It's not customized with colors and fonts and all these things. And on top of all, the wizard also created the front page and other important parts like course overview pages and things like that. And so, yeah, with all that stuff missing, of course it doesn't really work. The theme has been replaced, but I'm missing all the auto-generated content as well, and that's stored in the database. So yeah, I'm going to have to re-import the database. But that's doable, I guess. And I'll see where it gets me. But not now, because, yeah, I really need to get some rest. All right, folks. At least I got where I wanted to be. I have a working and prepared site, at least locally here on my machine, and now I just need to move it back to the internet. It took quite a bit of work, more than, yeah, almost 3 hours, but at least it's done now. Thanks for the help. Thanks for chatting. This was fun. And let's see if we can raid anyone. Let's see. There's always Rachel, but I think we're going to raid the Alt F4 stream. I haven't looked at them quite in a while. So let's raid Eric. All right, folks. Thanks, and I'll be back tomorrow with my office hour. If you have any questions that you'd like to ask, pop into chat and ask them tomorrow at 2 p.m. UTC. And until then, take care. Let's go raiding.